Our next speaker this morning is Ajuné Richardson. The title of Ajuné's speech is The Color of Music.
My name is Ajuné Emil Richardson, and I am African American. Of course, this isn't all that defines me. I'm a tireless, slightly introverted student who enjoys singing, loves animals, and aspires to someday own a nationwide chain of mental health centers. But in America, I'm an African American first. It is indisputable that the color of my skin subjects me to an inherent, unique set of experiences that help to shape who I am. To name one that immediately comes to mind, there's my heightened awareness of police officers. I'm no criminal, and neither is anyone with whom I spend my time, so theoretically, I should have nothing to fear. But when you often see a car pulled over on a suburban road with a brown-skinned driver behind the wheel, and you've heard firsthand news of black deaths at the hands of those who are supposedly meant to serve and protect, or you've heard the gut-wrenching details of someone you know nearly choked to unconsciousness next to a shattered car window without justifiable cause, well, how could you not have your antennae up around those boys in blue? I digress, but I must allow myself this one digression. It's my reality. I grew up with a mother who blasts artists like John Legend, Miguel, Neo, and Maxwell on the radio, a father who produces rap, hip-hop, R&B, and soul music in a recording studio he put together at home, and a family that religiously plays electric boogie at social gatherings. That being said, I should be able to say that these sounds are my norm, but they're no longer my norm. They're my past. They were the days when I happily sang along to my mother's favorite tunes. They were the younger me in my father's small studio, up at the mic, sporting large headphones over my ears, attempting to rap while my dad recorded. And all the while, he pretended to take me seriously, though my idea of rap at the time was just saying, yo, yo, repeatedly. They were the times before I had been called white so many times by my very own peers and relatives that I dissociated from everything known as black. As a young African American woman from an inner city area, I'm pinned with a lot of different prejudices. But if there's one thing I've learned about racial prejudice, it's that it's the most disappointing when it comes from your own race. By fourth grade, the manner in which I spoke seemed to increasingly draw the attention of those around me. I was deemed white numerous times because I spoke with a cadence that they were unaccustomed to hearing. It's not white, I would tell them, very matter-of-factly. It's proper. That was me at about 10 years old. While I maintained a sense of pride in the way I spoke, I was subconsciously beginning to feel more and more alienated from the people I should have felt closest to. Other inner-city children who are predominantly African American, some cousins, and even a few distant adult relatives. Over time, I gradually stopped listening to the types of music I'd grown up on and sought out a new music culture to call my own, which eventually led me to my current favorite genre, alternative rock. For a while after I'd settled on alternative rock, I became obsessed with the idea of straightening my hair and teasing it in a classic alternative style, and felt so disappointed that it would take so much work just to achieve that silly dream with my thick, 4C textured hair. In short, I no longer associated myself with black music culture. It's taken some time, but I feel as if I'm finally embracing my identity as a young black woman again. It's much easier to do now that I can better process what I experienced in my late elementary school days. Those people who called me white were heavily influenced by a country that constantly polarizes what it means to be black and what it means to be white, completely disregarding the vast gray area that undeniably exists in between. I was just lucky enough to see through those supposed racial boundaries, which supposedly included, in their minds, one's vernacular. Some years ago, after I came to Pingry, I decided I'd give my hair a break from braided extensions and wear my naturally short-looking, neat, coily afro to school. A bold move for a woman of color. Since then, I've continued to embrace and appreciate my own hair, an important part of my identity. More recently, I've stuck to wearing box braids with a few streaks of color. This style protects my natural hair while giving me a more edgy kind of punk flair. So, as it turns out, I can express myself through my hair without causing it irreversible heat and chemical damage. Concurrently, I've also started listening to the songs of my early childhood again, and even some newer hip-hop, R&B, and rap songs on occasion. I'm proud to say that nowadays, I have some songs by John Legend, Miguel, Neo, and Maxwell saved to my Spotify account, along with my favorite alternative rock songs. My playlist is proof that I've finally struck a balance within myself, providing a kind of musical roadmap from who I was to who I've become. My name is Ajuné Richardson, and today I am proudly African American. And someday I will share with my children the sounds of my life, especially those of my early childhood, and they too will be proudly African American. Thank you.